Hello, and in this video, this is going to be my review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix Voyager class Soundwave with Laserbeak and Ravage. This is also being called the Earthrise Soundwave or Earth Mode Soundwave. And of course, very excited to get this figure. But first of all, I've got to say, this figure is like gold dust. I don't think I've ever come across a figure that has been so difficult to get hold of. I can't recall. There may have been over the years, but this is, for something that's supposed to be mass produced, I really don't understand why this figure is in short supply. I don't know. There seems to be plenty of his wave mate, the Netflix Optimus Prime, but this guy, for some reason, he's just very elusive. I don't know. And of course, you've got people scalping him up and charging ridiculous amounts of money for him on auction sites. So silly stuff. But I don't, as I say, I don't know why he's in such short supply. But with that out of the way, I managed to find one. It wasn't very local, but I did manage to find one. And I'm going to review it. So, unlike the Siege version, he does come with the two tapes. Now, I don't have the Siege version to hand at the moment to be able to compare the tapes, and although the tapes didn't actually come with the Siege version, I don't have that version at hand for comparison. I've got some other figures for size comparison, but I do have another figure to compare with this, as you'll see in a bit. So, in fact, let's do that now. So here he is with G1 Soundwave, and it's not actually a G1 Soundwave, it's a reissue. But there you go. This is like my Soundwave, if you will. You know, if I'd been born in the 80s, and I got to love Transformers in the 80s, I think you know what I'm trying to say. This is a reissue, but it's my Soundwave, if you know what I mean. So there is that there for size comparison. So this one's a little bit shorter and a little bit wider. There are some gaps in here where you can see all the way through. I don't know how well that will show on camera, but you can see kind of through it. This one does look a lot better in the alt mode, but there you go. So, I mean, it looks good. It looks good enough. I don't, think it looks bad. I just don't think it looks as good as it could do for the character. So this is what it looks like from the back as well. It does have weapon storage. The batteries don't fit, or rather the weapons don't fit like the batteries did in the, in the back here. I'm not going to do it now, but you can kind of see them in there under the clip. Slide this down, put the weapons in like they were batteries. This kind of does it, but not really at all. It does store them though, which is something. And he does come with which just stores there. He does come with the very strange non-Soundwave looking accessory. And where I think they've really dropped the ball with this, especially with the Siege version, as the Siege version sold the cassettes separately, what they could have done is they could have, it was one of the, I forget which one it was one of the third-party, not Masterpiece, third-party blaster figures where they had his cassette be his rifle. So it all folded up, and this does have a hinge in it. It all folded up and became his cassette, a cassette for Blaster, and that was one of the third-party ones. I forget who made that one. If you know which one I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. I feel like they really dropped the ball on that. That would have been a really cool idea if this little extra rifle kind of folded up into a cassette, and you could also store that in his chest. Would have been a fun idea, but they didn't do it. And this doesn't serve as much of a purpose without that idea. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Sorry, that's his detailing on the inside, and that's what that looks like. These are, his cassettes are smaller, if you didn't know, than the standard G1 cassettes. Here's a reissue of Laserbeak, so you can see that they are smaller than the Masterpiece and G1 size cassettes. What should we do first? Should we do Laserbeak and Ravage? Yeah, let's do those. So Laserbeak here looks very good. Nice detailing. Doesn't look much like a cassette, but then again, I don't really expect it to necessarily. There you go, and that's what it looks like from the back. Transformation is very simple. You just fold the wings out, pop the head up, fold this piece up, fold the legs down, and there is Laserbeak. He does also have a peg that you can fold down there to make him into the armor or whatever it was that the Siege ones did. And he does have a new head sculpt with the Decepticon logo on it. Again, the head sculpt different from the Siege one, and the paint is slightly different from the Siege one as well. Very cool. So that's Laserbeak. Ravage. So Ravage looks more like a cassette, but is a bit more difficult to transform. So you've got, you can kind of see the I don't know what these are called, the like the spools or whatever they are. I guess side A. You've got a little Japan at the bottom there. So yeah, it looks more like a cassette. And then from the back it kind of loses the whole cassette look. But to transform him, this is how it works. So you fold these top legs out first, and they just fold out to here like so. Then what you want to do is you want to take kind of the two separate hinges, but you kind of want to move all of this together down like this. Same on the other side. This is how the instructions tell you to do it, like that. So you're kind of left with this look. Then you want to take this, kind of swivel it out like that. Same on the other side. Fold the legs out and down like this. Out and down like this. Okay. And then this whole section on this grey piece will swivel out. We'll kind of push the legs back in, actually. Probably should have done that after. And then it will clip up into there like that. And then if the legs have folded away, which they kind of have actually, we should have done that after, I guess. But they're a bit more difficult to get out. Like that. Bring the legs back out. It is a bit of a unfortunate transformation. And then these, just bring them down. Bring his head up from out in there. And there you go, there's Ravage. You know, people are saying that, again, it does have a different head sculpt as well to the Siege one. So that's what the head sculpt looks like. And the Decepticon logo there. There isn't one on the other side. And people, you know, seem to not like this Ravage. I don't mind it. I mean, it's not the best Ravage out there, is it? But it serves its purpose. It's good enough to me. I don't think it's horrible. You know, it serves its purpose. They did detail some little missile pieces on the backs of his back legs here. So yeah, it's not horrible. It could have been better, yes, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So there's Ravage. So for Soundwave himself, I've shown you the details on the inside, the Decepticon logo there, the yellow around here, the gold here looks good, the R and L and the speakers and whatnot. It all looks fine. These look a little bit out of place here. And one problem I have with this is it keeps liking to pop up, this whole section. I'll show you when we transform him. But that whole section likes to pop up. You don't have any volume or switch buttons on the side, which is a shame. But yeah, I don't really like how this protrudes forward with the buttons here, which don't work. They're just sculpted on. And then again from the back there. So to transform him, take all his weapons off. We already took the other gun thing off. So take his 2 battery weapons off. If it's not already done so, you want to pop up this piece here, like this. Just lift that up. And then take these grey pieces and fold them in, like that. Okay, so now we've done that. Want to undo the legs. There's a little tab here that goes into that hole, and this hole, there's a tab here that goes into. Same on the other side. So bring those down, and down on the knee hinge there. Rotate them this way, like this. Okay. And then you want to turn him around to the back, split this whole section, bring the arms and untab those. Again, there's a tab there that goes into that slot. Same on that side. Undo that. Bring those forward. Rotate them up just to get them out of the way. Rotate the waist 180. And he does have his faux buttons for his robot mode at the front, and he does kind of get this flap at the back with the real buttons for the tape mode. Then go into the legs, undo these pieces, do them kind of at the same time, fold the feet out, close those pieces back in like you just saw. Open this piece, bring his head up. I mean, it's not complicated stuff, and the transformation is very Soundwave, and it's very simple to do. It's not complicated at all. Tab those into there. There's a tab that will go into that slot there. Same on the other side. Fold his fists out. This side as well. And there you go. And then you can give him his weapons, which I'll just get. Just zoom out a little bit. Okay. So he's got his shoulder cannon, which doesn't have any paint on the like the missile head things, which is a shame, but there's that, and that just plugs in to his shoulder. And then he's got his other gun, which if you push this piece, brings this out, and you can extend that. Give him that to hold. And then you can, I suppose if you really want to, you can make him hold this gun as well. As I say, it would have been really cool if this gun had done the cassette thing, and that would have just made this figure so much better. So yeah, what do I think of it? I like it. I think it's cool. So let's go a bit more in depth. I'm going to take this gun off though, because I don't really like the look of that. But anyway, you can, because he's got a little bit of a pointy finger, you can kind of get him to get up there to his button. It's a bit awkward, but he kind of points at his button in a strange angle. But you can kind of do it. You know, you can sort of get him to push his own button. I didn't actually show it, but these two in cassette mode fit in his chest just fine. Doesn't seem to be too many problems. They're a little bit tight fitting, but nothing drastic. So his head sculpt is very nice, and something very interesting is they've given him red eyes. Now, if you didn't know, the red eyes were a cartoon thing for the original G1, and in the toy version, the toy had yellow eyes because the toys came first. And it's interesting here that they've gone with the red eyes eventually, because in the Netflix series, Soundwave in the Netflix series has yellow eyes, or kind of orangey, ambery yellow eyes, so, or whatever, but they're definitely not red, from what I remember. So that's a very interesting choice. It's kind of like they've gone the opposite now, but interesting choice. But anyway, I mean, it looks good. They are light piping, so you can see that works just fine. His chest is exactly the same. There's no faux chest or anything. The button still works, comes out that far, maybe a little bit further than I'd like, but it works good enough. The Canon you can angle like this. You can even kind of, you can even kind of angle it up a little bit like this if you want, and that's because of how this piece works in there. The head sculpt is different to the Siege one. I mean, this is a heavy retool of the Siege one, but there are a lot of new parts, and I'll point out what I can of those. Well, what I'll do is actually I'll point out the not new parts. But there's his head sculpt. Looks good. I do believe his head is new compared to the Siege one as a sculpt. So his feet are the same as the Siege one, I believe. His hands and lower arms are the same as the Siege one, which is a complaint I have, because, I mean, like, this is all part of the alt mode for the Siege version. Not needed. Completely unnecessary. They could have got rid of that entire kibble off the bottom of his arm, but they didn't bother to do that, which is disappointing. You do have the holes still in the lower arms, so yeah, that's that. But I mean, he looks good. He's a nice update. So let's go over his articulation. So his head is on a ball peg. I think you can get a bit of wiggle side to side there. It does spin all the way around, full 360. You can move his Canon a bit to get a few more poses. His arms out to there, very tight joints in the shoulders, down to there. You've got a double jointed elbow, which gets you about that much there. Fists are not on a, no swivel, but they do kind of angle in due to the transformation. Arms go all the way around like that, so no problem there. He does have a waist swivel. He does not have anything like an ab crunch or anything like that, but the waist swivel will go all the way around, and that's also due to transformation. His legs go out this far. If you get his flap up at the back here out of the way, they will go a little bit further. There you go. He does have a thigh swivel. Well, it's kind of a knee-thigh swivel. It's kind of a bit of both, but there you go. He does have that swivel there. Bend at the knee, which gets you 90 degrees. Same on the other side. His feet angle to about that far. They do have a rocker of about that much. So yeah, I mean, he's decently enough articulated. He's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. You can get some pretty decent poses with him. Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's cool. He's Soundwave. I'm gonna like it. But I don't know, there's something about it that feels like they've cut corners, especially when you've got this arm kibble underneath. They've put effort in, like trying to change the heads on the minions, and things like that. So, there are things I like, but then there's things I don't like as well. Is he worth picking up? I would say, yeah, he is worth picking up. And that's kind of, unbiased as well, because obviously he's Soundwave, but unbiasedly, I would recommend picking him up. He's a nice update to the G1 version. Not perfect by any means, but he's a decent enough update to the G1 Soundwave. And that's really all I have to say about him. He is cool. I do like him, as I've said, but there are some slight flaws with him. But yes, he is worth picking up. if you can find him, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do, considering how scarce these are. But you know, if you can find him, definitely pick him up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. He's decent enough. I mean, he's not perfect, as I've said, but he's decent enough. Sorry if I got a bit repetitive there at the end, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's been a long video again, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have stuck to the end and you've enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Please like the video if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Just very quickly, I will do some size comparisons. I know I forgot, but so I apologise for that. But just there he is with the Netflix Optimus Prime. So you can see Prime is a little bit taller than him. Here he is with Kingdom Deluxe Class Warpath. Here he is with Kingdom Core Class Rat Trap. So you can see how they look. And then finally, if I can get to it, here he is with a Micromaster. I know these guys are kind of Micromasters, but there's a regular one, so you can see how he scales there. Again, sorry I forgot about that, but just a quick size comparison there at the end. Thanks for watching.